So in example 2, not only are we going to be thinking about calculating or evaluating exponential functions, but also thinking about how to incorporate the calculator into that process. So as you look at example 2a, we have 2 to the 1.75. Well, we already talked about how to calculate something where we had 2 to a nice integer value, but if we have a decimal answer like this, we're going to need our calculator to help us out a bit. So think about then the fact that you have the caret button on your calculator to help you with exponents. So first off, you want to find that caret button, and then think about how to use that caret button to help you with this problem. You put the base before the caret button and the exponent after the caret button, and then you press the enter button, and you're going to get an answer. Now, as you look at these directions, it says that they want us to round to 3 decimal places. In order to round to 3 decimal places, we need to think about the 4th decimal place, and that 4th decimal place is going to tell us whether we're going to round up or not. So as you look at this answer on your calculator screen, hopefully you are seeing 3.3635. As you look at that 4th decimal place, because that 4th decimal place is 5, we're going to round the 3rd decimal place up. So this 3rd decimal, 3, is going to get rounded up to a 4. So our answer here is that we have 3.364. Now once again, if you have 5 or above, you round up. Anything below means you're going to leave the number alone. So 364 because we rounded up. Now, the other thing you have to be kind of careful about when you're typing these kinds of problems into your calculator is that your calculator understands and follows the order of operations. So you need to make sure that when you're typing this into your calculator that you're typing it with the order of operations in mind. So as you look at part B, sometimes people will type in something like 58, and then they type the multiplication symbol, and then they do 5, division symbol 6, caret 2.3. Now remember that the order of operations, you can use the acronym PEMDAS to help you think about all the different pieces and parts associated with that order of operations. So PEMDAS starts off with a P, which says you would start with anything in parentheses. We don't currently have anything in parentheses. And then it says you would come in and deal with the exponent. Well, in this case, the only item associated with that exponent of 2.3 is the number 6. So your calculator would come in, and the very first thing it would calculate is 6 to the power 2.3. But if you look at our original problem, that's not really what we wanted. We didn't want 6 to the 2.3 power. We wanted this whole fraction, 5 over 6 to the 2.3 power. So in order to make sure that we come in and override that idea, we need to think about how to do something before exponents in the world of order of operations. And the only way we can do that is by using some parentheses. So when you type this problem in your calculator, be very careful to include those parentheses around the 5 divided by 6. If you don't have the parentheses around the 5 divided by 6, you won't get the same thing that we were looking at here. So now, on this one, with the parentheses in place, your calculator will correctly come in and start by dividing the 5 by the 6, then take that answer and take it to the exponent of 2.3, and then come back and multiply that times 58. So if we do this using the order of operations, we should end up then getting an answer on the calculator screen of 38.1338. Once again, I need to look at that 4th digit to figure out what's going to happen in terms of rounding the 3rd. This one, once again, is bigger than 5, and because our 4th digit is greater than 5, we're going to round up. So this is going to be 38.134. Now that we have the idea that we are going to have to follow the order of operations, the last item that I want to talk about then is a special base. In the world of circles, you have a special number, pi, and you have someplace in your mind this idea that pi is about 3.14. What I'm going to ask you to do here is to add one more number to that same general vicinity when you're thinking about special numbers. So pi is about 3.14. Now we have a new number, a new base called e. And in order to see how big e is, let's start by calculating e to the first power. So you're going to notice, first of all, that there's a button on your calculator that deals with e to a power, and it happens to be a second button. So you have to do second and then natural log, and that'll give you an e to a power. Well, in this case, part C, I want to do e to the power 1. So if you type in e to the power 1, you're going to find that e to the power 1 is about 2.718. So once again, in that same place in your mind where you have the idea that pi is about 3.14, you want to say that e is about 2.718. And this number e pops up a lot in exponential world, and it is a number that is in a lot of real life examples. So it's nice to know this number e. Well, now that we know that e exists, we can take e to any old power that we feel like. So we can do e to the negative 1.3 power, for example. So once again, second natural log, and you can go ahead and do that e to a power, and this time we're going to get a number on our calculator screen that is 0.2725. 5 and above means we're going to round up, so this one's about 0.273. Now, one thing that sometimes people encounter on this problem is they type in this symbol right here using the subtraction button instead of the negative button at the bottom of their calculator. So if you're seeing that you're getting an error message at this point, make sure that you're using the negative symbol and not the subtraction symbol on your calculator.